Now, my first guest tonight is a comedian, presenter, and all-round good guy. Joel Dommett is a best-selling author and stand-up comedian.
And she went to sleep in my bed. I slept on the floor, right? And, yeah, it's nice. Oh, my God, he's not a rapist.
He charmed the nation when he appeared on I'm a Celeb back in 2016, and since then has become one of the most popular TV presenters in the country. And now he brings us the brand new series of The Masked Singer. Please welcome Joel Dommett! Sit down, my friend.
Oh, I've always wanted to sit on these papers.
They're all right, aren't they?
They're great, mate. Well done.
It's rich, thank you. What a lovely
done with the place.
It's weird to interview you because, like, we briefly lived in the same village.
Yeah.
Didn't we?
It's really, really strange.
2 years.
Like, I used to go on the school bus with your brother and sister, and because you'd gone to university, I think, already.
Yes,
So I basically just lived in the same village as your mum and dad.
Right.
And did you, like, spend much time in Rockhampton?
Very little. So it's like this tiny little village in sort of South Gloucestershire.
Yeah. There's nothing that happens in that village. Like,
Yeah.
there's 2 cricket pitches, but there's no shop, there's no pub. I used to go to that phone box just down the road from your house. There was one phone box.
I know it was near a goat.
It was near a goat.
It was, wasn't it? There was that one goat there.
There's just one. This is how rural it is.
Yeah.
This is the most Bristolian conversation. Because there was nothing to do, I used to go to that phone box to do prank phone calls.
Did you?
We'd get to the phone box and we would never be able to remember a cool number to call, you know, like a good prank phone call. So we used to always call 0800 282820 because it sounded like an owl, so it's easy to remember.
Yeah.
It's an insurance company. And genuinely, just used to call up every day and get a quote.
I mean, as far as rebellion goes, it's not up there, is there? Do you know what I mean? Oh, the wild days of my youth.
It was... that was all you had to... There's all farms there, so there's nothing to do. This is a terrible place to reveal this. I once kissed your sister on a bench on the cricket pitch. But,
I mean, it's fine, help yourself. I was never interested. like, I know we're from the West Country, but, you know... that's
yeah.
Did you really, though?
I did, yeah, I genuinely did.
What year?
Probably about 6 months ago.
So she was cleverly disguised as a goat. And so are you going back to Rockhampton? You're probably delighted that you don't have to.
Yeah.
Given how tedious it is. But are you going back? Is that it?
I don't know. This year might be the first year that I sort of wake up in my own house for Christmas.
Weird, eh?
I think so. It's very straight. It's that point in adulthood where now I'm married and I feel like maybe I can not wake up in my parents' house and open presents on the end of her bed.
Yeah. And, of course, Christmas is huge for you because The Masked Singer starts on Boxing Day, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like mad.
What's that like? Is it a fun show to work on?
It's so fun.
Yeah.
The crew really enjoy it as well because they're all guessing. So, like, we're all guessing for real. Like, none of us know. There's only, like, 5 or 6 production staff, I think, that know out of, like, 200, 250 people.
What, none of you know?
None of us know. Like,
Come
nobody
on,
knows. And
but surely, if you see, like, James Blunt in the studio, you're like, well, Blunt's in it. Like, Blunt's not rocking up wearing a hedgehog, is he?
Well, this is the mad thing. It goes real deep, right? So they get into their cars. They have to get into their cars wearing, like, a sort of almost a motorbike helmet and a hoodie that says, "Don't speak to me," on it, right?
Really?
Genuinely.
Wow.
And then they get out of the car, and then also, if they have, like, a stylist or an agent or anyone like that comes with them,
what if
they
they're in a
also
car crash?
They...
Like that, and they're just sort of staggering from it like that. And people are like, can't ask him who he is.
Don't speak to me.
Can you give us any sort of hints as to who's in it?
Absolutely not.
Really?
It's like...
What would it take for you to reveal who won?
A kiss with your sister. Oh. I'm sorry I keep rating. I'm so bad at that.
Her son looks a lot like you.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. And you were, not just TV, you've got were you in the middle of a tour? Or were you...
Yes, yeah. So I got 10 dates in, I think, before it all sort of collapsed and the world fell apart. And I just got to the point, so frustrating, because I just got to the point where I was starting to, like, enjoy it, and I knew the I knew the order of it. and I was like playing with it, but like having fun.
Because your show was about getting married. Because at the time you were newly married.
Yeah.
But now you're like 2 years married.
It always used to feel so relevant, you know, being like, I've just got married, this is stuff is happening. I feel like now I'm going to be more like, yeah, I'm married, and it's fine, you know? It's very weird going from essentially getting married and then go straight into lockdown, and I feel like we've gone from getting married to being married for 40 years immediately. Like
It's like dog years, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lockdown is like dog years. You've learned everything. You've finished. I've told you every story now. How did you how did you propose?
I put on a velvet tuxedo, and I lit 150 candles.
Okay.
And I also had a candelabra because I wanted candles in my hands.
Sure.
And I put on some classical music.
Can I stop you just there? What's the point of all the candles?
Well, I feel like there's a level of candles that's romantic, and I realised that I surpassed that.
Yes.
And it kind of just tips into séance.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You were somewhere between séance and sex dungeon. But, so continue. So you've got candelabra, you're walking
candelabra.
in like a darts player making his entrance.
Exactly. And I realised that the classical music was really bumming me out. So I changed it to like a soundtrack classical because it's kind of just a bit more upbeat. And then she got home and she knocked on the door and I opened it and it's only when I opened the door that I realised how much I looked like someone who welcomes you to like a haunted house. Do you know what I mean? Come in. And then she immediately obviously is worried about a fire hazard. So he starts blowing out candles, not thinking about it being a romantic situation.
And there's smoke everywhere.
There's smoke everywhere. And she's opening windows. And then I get down on one knee and I get on one because I have to go below the smoke line. And I say, Hannah Cooper, will you marry me? Oh, this is honestly true. I say, will you marry me? The moment I say, will you marry me, the Jurassic Park theme tune comes on.
Which is kind of uplifting music.
It's quite
Please
rousing.
tell me she went...
Yeah, exactly. Put the ring on her finger. Yeah, but that's, yeah.
And she said yes.
And she said yes, miraculously. So how did you do it?
I proposed in Tokyo, in the hotel where they do Lost in Translation.
Oh, nice.
And she was jet-lagged, and I thought, I'll get her when she's tired. Do you want to marry me? She's like, yeah. And she started crying. And I said, I've got to go. I'm off to do a sumo fight. And then it was I had the shit kicked out of me in a sumo. And you've done sumo as well.
Yeah.
Horrible, innit?
It's, oh my God, I'm so naturally bad at it.
Yeah.
It's just like, you need to have like flexibility of your hips.
Yeah.
And like that shuffle that they do.
And it's that thing, when they push you, you can't be 100% certain that one of your bollocks isn't going to pop out.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, and you're like, oh, fucking, like that. And do you know what I mean? Like, it's bad enough being beaten up, but being beaten up on national TV with a nut hanging out. Now, well, weirdly, talking of all this fighting, you've got skills.
Oh, well...
Why didn't you use your powers?
Basically, I was good at nunchucks when I was a kid. I did taekwondo when I was younger, but I was really bad at it, so I sort of... It was one of the... Because it was so isolating where we lived, it was the only thing I could do without travelling anywhere, was I'd do nunchucks in the garden and just do it for 8, but it's not fighting, it's basically a dance routine. It's like the sort of ribbon event in gymnastics. And there was this kid who used to beat me up in school, like all the time. And you know how when you're a kid you come up with weird ways of dealing with it. And I once made a video on a VHS of me doing nunchucks in my garden for, I'm going to probably say two or 3 minutes, just constantly just like looking at the camera. And then I put it onto a VHS tape and put it through his letterbox. And I thought that would do the business. I wrote on it in black marker pen, I wrote, "To Chris, this is what I'm capable of." And it didn't work. It didn't,
no. And your chucks are there, aren't they?
I've got my chucks here. And actually, there's a funny thing about this. So I then did this show called Nunchuck Silver Medalist 2002.
Yeah.
And at some point I say during it, like, if you don't know what nunchucks are, it's like 2 dildos attached by handcuffs or something like that. And
I mean, that's pretty sound.
It's pretty sound advice.
Absolutely.
And I brought them along just because I saw them for the first time since I did that recording, and I actually made nunchucks out of a pair of dildos for that record.
Wow.
The weirdest part was I went into a sex shop and I just was looking around the sex shop for that specific, like, weighted dildo. And in the end, I bought a double dildo and had to saw it in half. Oh, it was really a horrible moment. I was, like, sawing a very realistic dick in half.
Do you want to... I mean, thank fuck for social distancing.
Would you prefer me to do some chuck skills with the dildos or the real ones?
I think we all know the answer to that.
These ones...
Please swing your dildo around.
It's... where do you want me to stand?
Just over there, just away from...
Over there. I'm so sorry. This is such a good show, and
It's great. No.
I fucking brought it down.
No, you haven't. It's all right, mate. I think, fuck it, let's do this properly. You show us some chuck action, and let's put some music over the top to make this really special.
Yeah, let's do it. Right, go on.
That is what he's capable of!
Yeah!
Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for my guest, the fantastic Joel Dommett!